Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I wanted to insulate my current loft hatch. So I went off to the local hardware store and I noticed that the modern loft hatches they sell are made of plastic and they've got a layer of polystyrene insulation on them. So I bought the equivalent polystyrene board to do my hatch. So just a quick disclaimer before I begin, I am not a qualified builder, so please don't take my advice on how to do this. It does depend on your setup in your property. Please do your own research. So I got the hatch down. And I noticed that I already had some draft excluders, which would save me time later on. Didn't have to fit them, so that's great. So when I got the hatch down, you can see that it's fiberglass material inside a bag, and that has been stapled to the hatch. So there's a lot of areas where there's no insulation at all around the edge, and there's no airtight seals. So I began by removing the staples and taking this bag off. And what I want to do is I want to insulate it and completely fill in any cracks or areas where air can leak, because I don't want the warm air mixing with the cold air. And you can see there's a piece of paper there from when it was originally done, and it was actually done in 1997, so it's pretty old. So now just having a look at the hatch, I think it's made of pine. There's a thin piece of plywood and then these 4 pieces of pine which are jointed together to make the hatch. So I wanted to start by filling in that main section of the hatch in the middle there, and for that I used the piece of polystyrene that I bought from the DIY shop, and that is 25mm thick, which equates to a rough industrial standard, which is okay for roofing. It holds enough warmth in. There's lots of technical terms, so as I say, please do your own research on this. So I cut a piece to size with a knife, and then I just snapped it. And I used some instant grab adhesive to attach it. I used a solvent free variety, just so that the any solvents which would be there wouldn't melt the polystyrene. So solvent free is better for that. So then I pressed it into place, a nice tight fit to make sure it's nice and secure. And I cut another section. So that area is the main area of the hatch, which is exposed on the other side to the room. The outer parts are not so much exposed, they're kind of the lip where it lips onto the hatch frame. I then went round with the instant grab and just sealed in any little gaps. So I then used some aluminium tape when that was finished to seal all the joins where the polystyrene meets the wood, and this will prevent any air coming up through the hatch, hot air mixing with cold air or cold air mixing with hot air. And this aluminium tape is self-adhesive. It's a little bit like flash band. It connects really nicely, and you can just push it on to fill in all the little gaps. So once I got a nice seal, it was time for stage 2. Now I wanted to go ahead and cover the entire hatch. So I used another layer of insulation. I've got some various different insulations from previous projects on my workshop, insulating that. So I wanted to build up the layers to add, just to give it more effect and to make it more insulated really. So I just used the hatch as a template and drew around it with a pen, and then cut this material out. And before I stuck it on, I just cut some strips and put these around the sides, because the middle part was slightly raised, so I just wanted to level it up a bit using the instant grab again. And then I put instant grab all over everything to add this next layer, and this layer is about 3 or 4 mil thick. And the aluminium will help to reflect differences in temperatures. It would reflect the cold away, stop it dropping down into the hotter room, and vice versa. So then I added another layer of instant grab for the final layer of insulation, and I wanted this final layer to be a hard layer so that it could protect all the softer insulation underneath. And again, I stuck that down, and that is a layer of foam and aluminium again. So once that was done, I went round with a final layer of aluminium tape again to seal all the joints, and I also went round all the edges just to help seal everything in. And this should prevent any air escaping out into the loft. You just don't want any cold air mixing with your warm air. So that's it all finished now. It took a while to do, but I was pleased with how it turned out in the end. I've got a nice seal there, and the entire hatch is completely insulated now. So the only thing left to do was to give the other side a quick roll with some white paint to freshen it up. So I then added a layer of aluminium tape around the edge, as you can see there, because there was a little void going all the way around where air can come through, and I wanted to seal that off. So look out for that on the lips of your hatch. So the only thing left to do now was to put it back in place. So if you did find this video useful, please leave me a like and also comment, and also consider subscribing if you haven't already for more videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.